What's going on, everybody? It's ZachMichael here. Today we are going to be creating a pop beat from scratch. So if you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get running into it. I'm going to start today with a BPM around like 108-ish. And I'm going to load up some roads and just kind of create some simple chords to use. I go something like that. Really basic, but a good starting point. And I'm just gonna kind of start layering sounds here. I'm gonna kind of lead with the melody, and then I'm gonna do the drums in this case. So I got these basic chords. I'm gonna try to layer this sound with something else. A pad. This could work. I'm gonna simplify the chords a little bit, and we're gonna have these a bit more stabs. That little background sound, nothing too crazy. I'm gonna load up a Moog bass here, and just kind of give more low end to it, and then just try to find a couple more layers. Then we'll get started on the drums and maybe go back to the melody. I try to get a foundation melodically before I do my drums on a lot of my pop stuff, but I do want to leave room to add more stuff later after I do the drums. And then also I want to leave room for an artist, because on these pop beats, like, I'm trying to get a singer on it, right? So when you're trying to get like a vocalist on your track, you got to leave a bit more room, you know, for the artist to shine. But we're gonna throw in a synth bass like that, and we're gonna get started on the drums, and then we'll come back to doing more on the melodies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my snares like this, and maybe like layer the snare. Do that on a lot of my pop stuff, just to kind of make it sound a bit more full. And find like a nice kick drum, boost that, and then now we're going to get started making kick pattern. I do something like that. I'm gonna change the kick out though. I want to cut this kick way shorter, so I'm just gonna do that. Get a hi-hat in here. These are all just acoustic sounds from my drum kits on my site. I like using more acoustic sounding live kind of sounding samples when I do these pop beats. And we're just gonna get a little open hat in here. Pattern like that, super simple. I also just play with velocity on a lot of the sounds as you put them in. Like, I think you guys will notice that I do that just to kind of make it feel a bit more alive. When you put in these like more like acoustic sounding stuff, if you want it to sound very real and like authentic, you're gonna want to play around with velocity. Don't be afraid to kind of make things a little less than perfect. A lot of people kind of confuse pop music with perfection, but a lot of times, like, it's the imperfections that actually make pop songs like sound very interesting sonically. Now I'm just trying to find another melody layers. We're gonna do like a little ARP kind of thing. So I'm just going in here, that. And now that I got this, I'm just going to duplicate it, turn the velocity down, duplicate these both, turn the velocity down. And I'm going to add an echo boy, because I know I want this to have like a ping pong. And we're going to add a reverb. we'll tuck that in the back. Just a couple more melodic elements is really all this needs. I want to add like a pad from Expand. Honestly, that pad's pretty dope. So I'm gonna throw like a chorus on that. I think we need like one more sound. I'm gonna pull something from the Mellotron. For those that don't know, the Mellotron's like a very old school, very like, I don't know, like kind of old school but classic synth. So I'm gonna use it to just kind of add something a little old school to this. I do a pattern like that. I think I'm gonna change out the sound though. Like this maybe if I pitch it up an octave. I like the sound, but I think actually I have a better idea pattern-wise. What if I do something like that? This needs to come down to F like that. I'm gonna add Portal to this. I'm just creating like a textural sound, just something to kind of add. Something like that. That sounds pretty solid to me. We got a lot of layers here. I like having different layers when it comes to the melodics on these pop beats. It just allows you to pull things in and out. It's gonna be very cool. And then also what I like to do is sometimes I'll take the drums and I'll just export these and I'll create like a B section with the drums where I process them a little differently. So, I mean, that could be filtering, which is what I'm actually going to do here. I'm going to use this transit plugin. I have a preset here. And I'll just use this as a filter. But there's tons of different ways to obviously filter out the stuff on those drums. But that's how I'm going to do it today. Like that. And then we just get started on the arrangement. So keep it simple in the intro. I'm going to throw my tag in there. I'm going to have the filter drums come in. I like having those come in first just to kind of like establish the groove that it's a pop beat, but it's like still got room to build. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Pull out those claps in the beginning, the claps in the second half. Give it more variation. Second half of the hook, bring in some different sounds, pull out some sounds. Trying to create different variation in the arrangement. We're gonna actually cut this early there, and I'm gonna do like a little double snare hit at the end here. So I'm just gonna cut this and then duplicate these over. So at the end it'll just hit twice. Yep. And just like that, we got a pop beat. So, you know, hopefully you guys learned some good stuff from today's video. And yeah, that's a bit of how my process is for making pop beats. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to listen to my podcast, Creative Discipline with TheZachMichael, out now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. I talk a lot about the music business and my experience as a professional in the industry. And it has a lot of very valuable knowledge that you can definitely learn from. A lot of stories on there and a lot of very insightful based conversation, so definitely check that out. On top of that, don't forget to explore my free and paid sound kits on my website, elizabethrecords.net/kits, and also check out the latest apparel from my company, Anderson Apparel. We sell tons of different products, and they're very high quality, so feel free to check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching.